All these images that you can see on the screen are what we are going to be creating today. As you can see, these images look almost exactly like photographs. It's actually very hard to tell that these are made using AI. So with that, let's just jump into it. It's going to be relatively easy because we are not going to be depending on the prompts. Instead, we are going to be using mainly images to drive the output that we want. So we are going to be using this product right here called Whisk. This is a product by Google. So to access it, you need to use your Google account or any Google account that you have. Just go to this website right here, log in with your Google account, and then it's going to bring you to this exact page. Once you get here, as you can see, it has 3 icons here. There's a box for style, there's another box for subject, and then there's a box for output. So the idea being that you can input the style that you want here, and then you input the subject that you want here, and then once you say create, it's going to give you an output that combines the subject and the style without you using any prompt, just by using images. But what I want us to do is just scroll down, and you can see this right here. It says start from scratch. This is the one that I want us to use instead. So let's click on it. Perfect. Now this one brings us to this window. On this window, we have now an extra input. So we have the subject here, next we have the scene, and then we have the style, and then once you combine all 3, you just come and click here on generate, and it's going to give you an output that combines the 3. So as you can see, you have 2 options here on each one of them. On the first one, you can either enter a prompt to create the image that you want, or you can drag and drop an image, right? As you can see, enter text or upload image. The same applies to the scene that you want. So here for the subject, it can be the main character that you want. For the scene is the environment that you want the character to be in. And even for this one, you see you have the option of to enter text or to use an image. And then finally, you have the style. When it comes to the style, is the style of the output that you want. So in order to start, we are going to be needing a subject, right? So when it comes to the subject, you can either upload your own image, maybe a photo you have taken, or even a photo of yourself as the main character that you want to generate. But another thing you can do is, if you don't have an image, you can just go online, either to Google Photos, or you can just use Pinterest. For me, I'm going to be using Pinterest because it has a lot of options when it comes to such a huge collection of images. But ideally, you should use an image that you own the rights to. But just for an example on this one, I'm just going to jump into Pinterest and look for a random photograph to use, okay? So let's do that. There we go. Now we are on Pinterest. As you can see, we have so many random photographs that are available here. Remember, we don't have the rights to any of these images. So ideally, as I said, you should use an image that you have taken yourself or an image actually of yourself to generate this. But for now, let me just check any image that we can use here as an example to show you how it works. We can, let's say, let me find something here. Let me download this image. All you have to do is right click and click on save image. So with that done, what you just need to do is come back here, and then you are going to take that image that you have downloaded, which is this one right here, and then all you have to do is drag and drop it here as the subject. Then you can close this, and then as you can see, it has started analyzing the image. So let's give it a moment to finish that. Now it's done. Once it's done analyzing the image, you can see it has already added the subject here. So what it wants, it's waiting for us to add the scene and also to add the style. But before we jump into that, I want to show you how you can customize the subject even further. So let's take a minute and have a look at that. So to customize the subject even further, you just come here. As you can see, there's an edit icon right here, even after you've added the image. So click on it. So what we have in this window is the image that we uploaded, but even more importantly to us is this, the description of the image itself. This description has been generated automatically by Google Whisk. As you can see, this is a young woman and then it describes the hair, the outfit, and everything it can see. So what we can do, we can actually click here to regenerate it for it to just give us other pictures that are similar to this based on the description that it itself created. So let's click here and see. There you go. As you can see, just like that, we now have extra characters. But even more importantly is that the characters are matching in terms of one image to the other. As you can see, these images look almost similar. So what we can do here, we can continue generating even more images, or we can even start removing or adding things that we want in the picture. So the first thing that I want us to remove is this bottle of water because it's unnecessary. So to remove it, we just come back here and look at this description. She's wearing a white and blue baseball cap, bikini top, gold belly chain. Here it is. She's holding a clear plastic bottle of water in her left hand. We can just remove that, highlight it, and then delete. Once we delete, we can now regenerate again. There we go. Now we have the character. Now, as you can see, she's not holding any bottle of water. Perfect. Now from here, you can add anything you want. You can remove things. In this case, what I'd like to do is that you can also change, because in all these pictures, as you can see, she's looking down. To make her look at the camera, we can just come here and look at the description again. The woman's expression is serious and she's looking downward. We can change this to she's looking at the camera. And then regenerate. Give it a second. There you have her, now looking at the camera. Perfect. So the next thing we can do is we can actually add items. As you can see right now, she doesn't have a shirt on or anything. So if you wanted her to wear a shirt, we can just come here and just add. So I've added that. She's also wearing a white open shirt with sleeves folded to the elbows. So let's see what that looks like. There you go. Now we have the shirt. And then next we can look for something else to add. If you wanted to add anything else, let's say give her some glasses to wear. So I've added, she has some gold rimmed glasses on. Let's see how that looks. There we go. As you can see now, she has glasses on. As you have seen, there was an prompt there that said that it could not generate what we asked for. Sometimes that happens, but it's okay. All you do is you can ask it to regenerate it, or you can just try and adjust your prompt again. So here we can see what we started with. We started with this image, and then from there we have been able to create all these different images with different looks. We were able to remove a bottle. First we removed the bottle because we had this bottle that was looking a bit odd here, but in this case it looked perfect. And then from there, and as you can see, as I mentioned, the hands are perfect. Even in this case where the hands are holding a water bottle, it's perfect. The number of fingers are okay. So the first thing we did is we removed the water bottle. And then the next thing that we did is that we went in and decided to add a shirt. And as you can see, it was added perfectly. And then finally, we added some glasses. And you can try and run that again if you want some more images. But something that you need to note is that AI being AI, it's still having a weakness when it comes to text. So if you pay attention to the background, this text in most scenarios will not make sense, which is okay because we are going to be changing the environment in a bit. So for this one, all we are looking at is ensuring that we have the character and we can change outfits and we can add and remove outfits if we want. Perfect. Another thing we can do is that we can change the design of the hat itself. I like the hat, but I'd like to see if we can change the design. So let's say she's wearing a white and blue baseball cap, let's say. So let's attempt to add some flowers on the cap itself. So let's see how that one goes. And there you go. So that's how you can change even the design of whatever the character is wearing. The next thing that you can have a look at now is how to use this character in different environments, or rather this subject, because right now we are having the same sort of subject from the original picture that you had uploaded. So with that, let's have a look at that. We start by closing this window. And then now we come to scene. We can go at it in two different ways. The first one being, as you remember, we can either enter the text to describe the environment that we want, or even easier, we can just upload an image that shows the environment that we want. But remember, the first one, as much as we have closed this subject one, we can still access all the images that we created by clicking here. Once we click here, we have all these images here. So let's say let's pick any of these. We can pick this one, or rather, let's do this one, and then we close this. So we have not lost any of those images. They are still here, right? Next, we come here to scene. Now we need to upload an image that shows the scene that we want. Remember, you can just prompt it by writing down, say, a coffee shop, but just to make it easier for ourselves, let's come back to Pinterest. Remember, you can use any images that you have, any images that you have taken yourself, or any images from Google Photos or from Pinterest, but ideally the best case scenario is to use your own images. But in this case, I'm just using Pinterest to make this faster. So we just need an environment. So let's have a look at some of this. Ideally, I want to move away from, we can use this one, but the challenge with this one is these writings on the wall. I want to move away from anything with such huge text, because remember, AI is not able to replicate text. Or rather, let's just use this so that I can show you. Let's save that. Then you come here, go to downloads. This is the image. Let's add it here as the scene. So now that we have those two, as you can see immediately, this one has given us the prompt to combine the two. So to generate your combined image, click here. So the only thing that you're not going to do is add a style. So for now, we are just focusing on the subject and the scene. So now that you have a subject that we like, we have added the scene. Now you can start experimenting with the scene to see how these two, they are going to look together. But remember, as I've said, this one is a bit risky, this image, because of the text in the background. But let's generate and see the options. So we generate by just clicking here, and now we wait. First, we have gotten an error there. It said you couldn't generate what you asked for. Please consider adjusting your inputs. As I said, once in a while, it will give you such issues, but don't worry, you can just try again or change your input. But first of all, you can see this image. Perfect. So this is a combination of the two. As you can see, it has taken this image. It's not going to be exact, but it has taken the environment and it has taken the character, and now we have both of them in the same environment. So let's try that again. Again, we have had that issue. So let's try and change something. Let's pick a different character here. So we just scroll, look for a different one. So let's pick this one. Close this again, and then generate. It seems you're having an issue with it getting this image out. Let's try and change the environment. Let's give it something different. Let's try this. I like how this one looks. Save image. And then what you can do, you can delete this one by just clicking here to remove it. And then now we can add the new image that you have just downloaded. And then generate. We have one there. Let's try again. Then we have another one. And try a different environment now. Again, this is all about experimenting. You just keep going back and forth, looking for interesting environments and then adding the character. Let's use this one. Then you come back here, downloads, this, add the image there, and then generate. Perfect. As you can see in this case, it has decided to turn the cape around, the baseball cape around. Now it's looking backwards, and it's even a perfect photo. And as you can see, given that the image you have provided has a lot of seats, it decided that he wanted the character to be seated down, and the character is seated perfectly. As you can see, the number of fingers are perfect. Everything looks just perfection. Okay, let's try that again. Actually, that has given me an idea. We can just switch it up to tell the AI to make sure that the character in all the images has the baseball cap worn backwards like this. So also, if you want to see the description of any of this, you can just click here. And you can see the description that it has created in order to generate this image. Let's see if we change here to, just to make it simple for us, she's wearing a, let me make it a white bucket hat, because I want a bit more consistency between the images. And if every image we are getting a different logo on the cap, that creates some sort of detachment between one image and the other. So let's see. Okay, I like this one. Let's work with this. So let me see how this one looks. Perfect. So now you can just keep doing that. All you have to do is keep changing the character here going forward and adding different environments as you please. And if you want to change anything about this photo, all you have to do is come here. You see you have the option to refine. Click here, change anything you want here, and it's going to change this particular image, right? As opposed to changing everything else. But ideally, I prefer to change it from these two. So if I want to change anything to do with the character, I prefer you just come here, change the character here, as you've seen how I've been shifting the character in terms of adding outfits, removing outfits, changing designs of outfits. And also, when it comes to the environment, I prefer changing the environment from here as opposed to defining it here. So let's see different environments, something else. You can try this. Okay, I don't like that it has text on it. That might create some problems. Let's try this one. As you can see, as I said, I prefer images that don't have anything in the background, that don't have a lot of writing in the background, because I want to avoid text as much as possible, because the AI is not able to process text accurately. So we just add that. Give it a second to load. And that's it. And now we just run it. So the maximum output in terms of images that it gives you is 2 images each time you click generate. There you go. Perfect. As you can see, this one is great because we don't have any text around. We don't have any posters. And the same applies to this one right here. No posters around, so there's nothing that can sell the idea that this is an AI image out of the box just by looking at it. For now, it just looks like a random image. So basically, that's how you go about that. You can create as many images that you want as you want. There's a limitation per day. You can generate, I don't know what's the exact number, but you can keep it going for quite a while before you're told to pause, and then you can restart the following day. So all you have to do is just keep looking for environments, look for interesting environments, draw them there, and then let Google Whisk do the magic that it does in order to create the scene for you. See if I can find another interesting environment. So at this point, you know everything, actually. You can even start generating your own. At this point, I'm just looking for other interesting images to add so that we can see how many more different looks we can get. Perfect. And anytime you want to download any of the images, and you can see something else that I wanted to mention, it understands the lighting. Like in this case, it can tell that the lighting is coming from this side of the image. As you can see, the shadow of the cap is right here. The shadow of everything is to this side, and even the character, the lighting is to this side where the lighting is coming from. So everything is just perfection. So to download the image, all you have to do is come right here and click on download. Just like that, it's going to be downloaded. And if you come to your downloads folder, there you have the image. Perfect. So with that being said, now you already understand how to do all this. Remember, just keep changing the character by changing from this end if you want to change anything to do with the character, and then when it comes to changing the environment, you change it by just coming here and adding different images to your liking. Perfect. So with that being said, I think I'll catch you on the next one. I'll be doing another one where I teach you something else that comes to how you can now start adding styles and create more artistic things. Also, before you leave, you can see here, we had said that the character looks at the camera. So all the images that we have here, the character is looking straight at the camera. You can change that by just coming back here to the character. And then here, when it says the woman's expression is serious and she's looking at the camera, we can say she's looking any direction that we want. We can say she's happy, she's whatever we want this to be. We can say she's happy or even sad. We can say sad, and she's looking to the left. She's looking off to the left. We can change right here the expression of the character, and we can also change where the character is looking. Okay, so it's not all the time that she has to be looking at the camera. So as you can see, we have changed that, and then you can come back here and then generate images with now this new look that you want here. Just like that, you can see. And then you can change and say, instead of her being sad, you can say the expression is joy. Just like that. And then now you can create another image. Let's change the environment here to something else. There we go. So that's how easily you can do that. So remember, you don't have to be stuck on a single expression or where she's looking or anything. You can change all these items by just coming back here, selecting the character, and then adjusting anything that you want to adjust. With that being said, now I'm done for real. Hey, so on this one, what you're going to be doing is that you're going to be adding a vehicle. You can see we just look for a picture of a vehicle and add it to the scene. After that, we click on generate. We give it a second. And as you can see, we have now matched the character that we already had here and the vehicle. Let's do some bit of changes here. There we go. Let's regenerate this. I think this one will do. Perfect. And now let's try that again. As you can see, this is just perfection, how the lighting is matching and everything else. Let's do a few more changes here to the character. I'm already liking how the images, the character is merging with the vehicle itself. But I just want to change the character a bit. Let's do a few more changes. Because this is the beauty of Whisk. You can do a lot of customization at any given point. Okay, let's try this now. Perfect. Let's keep going. As you can see, everything is a variation of what we already had. They are all somewhat similar, but they look just different enough with different angles. But the lighting is great. The character consistency is just there. The outfits, everything else is maintained. As you can see, all this variety, you have so many options, and you can even change the vehicle if you wanted. I just like this one because it has a classic look to it that I like. So I'll just maintain the car and just continue trying to refine the character. Let's try this one. Let's run it again. I'm loving all of this. Like this one is just, most of them actually, I love a lot of this. So all you have to do is look for images of any car that you like, any vehicle. You just add it here and then merge it with your character, and with that you'll get such a good variety of images. Perfect. At this point, you have already looked at how to use the subject as well as how to use the scene. So now I want us to look at the third one, which is style. It works the same as the other two in terms of you can either enter text to define what you want to see, or you can upload an image. So once you start using this style, that's when you start getting images such as these ones here. So let's try it out. First, I want us to define the style by using text. We are just going to use a very simple text. So we click on enter text. We've just gone with cartoon animation to keep it simple. So let's click on generate. There we go. So this is the image that you have gotten. You can see it's relatively simple. So let's try and use it. So it's going to combine this image and then it's going to combine it with this style. Let's see the result that you're going to get. Let's hit generate here. And there you go. You can see how simple that was. So just by typing cartoon animation here and then combining it with the image that we had here, we are now getting beautiful animations here, or rather images that look like they are shots from an animation. Let's generate again to see another sample. Perfect. You can see we are getting quite a lot of variations, because comparing to this, given that we are not given it a lot of guidance in terms of what the animation should look like in terms of its style, we can get a variety of different designs to choose from. Now another thing that you can do is that you can upload your own image here instead of typing the kind of style that you want to use. So let's delete this and now upload our own image. Let's go with this. There you go. Now we can click on generate to see the combination of this subject matter, this character, and this style. There you go. So this is what I wanted. The style that I've used here, let me just show you the style. What I've imported is this right here that looks like a paper cut. As you can see, this is a layered paper cut diorama. That's what I wanted to use as the inspiration, the style to go with, and the image you have gotten is exactly that. Where we can see it looks like layers of paper that have been layered together to create this image. And it has sort of a 3D look in the sense of we can almost see the shadows behind each layer of paper. I love this a lot, this kind of style, because it's so confusing when you're looking at it. You cannot tell if it's an animation or you cannot tell if it's something that has been constructed actually using paper. So there is sort of some texture to it that's just fantastic to look at. Look at this. Look at those beautiful textures on the paper itself. Actually, even me calling it paper, it just goes to show how detailed it is. Let me do the last round here. There you go. Perfect. So another thing you can do, if at all this is not the style that you want to go with and you cannot think of the words to describe the style that you want, you can go again to Pinterest and just look for any style that you feel that you'd like to use. So say we look for a style such as this one. You just click on it and then you can save that image. And then you just come here, delete this, and then upload the style that you want. This can be quite handy, especially where you already have an artistic style of your own and you want to check it against different images to see how they look. So if you already have a style that you like to create, maybe using Procreate or any other tool, you can upload one of your images here in that style and then you use that image to guide yourself so that you can see how different pictures or different characters look in your style. So now we have both. We have the character here. We have uploaded the style that we want. Let's generate to see the result. There you go. Let's try again. You see it has picked even the color scheme from this image in terms of the reds, blacks, and whites, or more of off-white. Perfect. And it has even taken some creative liberties here. So that's how you go about it. Let's see if we can find one final style to go with before we stop. Such as this one. I feel like this one is quite creative. Let's see what you can do, what it can do with something like this. And let's generate. There you go. So basically that's how it works when it comes to style. Now you have already covered all the aspects of this. You have covered subject, you have covered the scene, you have covered the style. So all you have to do, especially with style, is just experiment with different images or different styles of your own to see the one that works best for you. And you can either describe it, as I've said, or you can upload an image that's going to be the guide for the AI itself, so that it can combine the two for you. Okay, so with that being said, the one that I've used for this one, it's not on Pinterest, so I'm going to give you this. It's something that I created on my own, or rather I generated, so you can use it if you want. But for the rest, just remember that these are styles that are owned by other people, but if you have your own, even better. And that's it from my end. Just stick around. In case I have anything else, you can be checking my page to see if I've uploaded a different class, and if there'll be any developments on Whisk, just be sure that I'm going to update this class. With that being said, catch you on the next one.